Hey Guru Nation, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. So, really quick video today, okay? And by the way, if you're new, welcome. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been a long-time follower, thank you as well. As you may or may not know, you may call or text me anytime, 949-415-6256. I do prefer text. Snapchat. Okay, so all my social accounts are underneath this video, or if you're on my blog, then on the bio page. Snapchat, Instagram, those are the hacks, the surefire ways to get a hold of me instantly. And then everything else too, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you're comfortable with, right? Or email dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I have been getting, because I'm doing a lot of consulting now, so I'm getting a lot of new sites starting their own studies. And they're running into issues, operational issues. And today's video is going to be about following your own SOPs, right? So this particular site, obviously they're going to be anonymous, but this particular site, they had a study and they had a good amount of screen failures, okay? And they were not getting medical records for their screen failures. And normally this is not a problem. As long as you're randomizing more than you're screen failing, the sponsor typically doesn't care about medical records for a screen failure. Well, in this particular site's case, the site was not randomizing anybody. They were just racking up the screen failures. And so the sponsor, the CRA, actually questioned the site on their process of screening, right? And what that eventually led into was, when are you requesting medical records? Because from all these screen failures that this site had, none had medical records. Typically, a sponsor prefers you have medical records before you randomize the subject, right? But in this case, since there were no randomizations, they were looking at the medical records because they wanted to know how they can help the site prevent unnecessary screen failures from happening. Okay, so the problem was the site didn't have records, and when the CRA looked at the site's SOPs, the standard operating procedure, it said that during the screening visit, part of the process of the screening visit is as soon as informed consent is taken and the HIPAA, or the authorization to release medical records, is signed, that must be faxed and then followed up with a phone call, as per GCP, to that patient's physician, right? So that was in their SOP at screening. And remember, you don't necessarily know you're going to screen fail someone right away. So, especially after the informed consent form, right? I mean, you're not going to have someone sign a consent form and then screen fail them immediately after. Like, there's typically going to be some procedures involved, and the subject may or may not screen fail depending on those various assessments, right? But in this case, the subjects were screen failing for various different reasons. I didn't get into details. But there was no medical records, and then so the CRA looked into this and said, hey, you're not following your own SOPs. If the FDA should audit you, the first thing they look at is your SOPs. And then if in your SOPs it states that you should get medical records, or at least make an attempt to obtain medical records at screening visit, and you never do that because you're not following your own SOPs, that's a finding, okay? So it shows that you're not following your own SOPs, so then the FDA is going to think to themselves, well, what else is this site not following in their SOPs? Let's explore deeper. And you want to avoid that at all costs. You don't want to give any reason for any regulatory agency to look deep into your operations, right? You just don't. Nothing good can come out of that, right? So, again, usually sponsors only care about medical records when you randomize a subject. However, sponsors do care what the FDA cares about, and if you're not randomizing anyone and you're just racking up a bunch of screen failures and you're not following your own SOPs, so no one has medical records, well, they can suspect a number of things. Fraud, negligence, you're not following your own systems. A lot of things can go wrong there, so just make sure you follow your SOPs. You should make it standard in your SOPs or in your practice to obtain medical records As soon as you obtain the authorization to release records from the subject, the study coordinator, the research assistant, somebody needs to immediately fax that over to the patient's physician, follow it up with a phone call, document this of course, get the fax transmission printout, write a note to file that a follow-up phone call is made. You got to do this 3 times, okay? You don't have to do all 3 at screening visit, but you should at least do 1 at the screening visit if it's in your SOPs that you're supposed to obtain medical records, and you should do the other 2 sometime prior to randomization, right? Because you typically want records before subjects randomized. Now there are cases where you can randomize a subject without medical records. If you do 3 fax attempts and 3 follow-up phone calls as per GCP, right, you're covered. If you don't get their medical records, yet the subject still qualifies, you can randomize them. But you want to follow GCP, and most importantly, follow your own SOPs, right? Hopefully this helps. Thank you very much, Guru Nation. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.